It can be. It can be. You have to learn to separate the hospital work from what's going on.
And how do you go about doing that?
By talking to your colleagues, by having a supportive husband, having supportive people at home that you can talk to, by writing out your thoughts, journaling, by internet, internet chats and things like that. Talking with coworkers about how you feel about things.
Now, what about volunteering? Is volunteering in nursing, how does that?
You mean like candy stripers and stuff like that used to have? Well, that still gives you an idea of what nurses do, but it doesn't really give you the full flavor. There are so many aspects to nursing.
Well, what if somebody doesn't know if that's exactly what they want to do? How can they get a real feel for it without going through all this college and then saying, okay, well, I tried it and I don't want, and then them feeling like, well, this is a waste? Or
well, the fact is it's not going to be a waste because there's a niche for everybody in nursing, whether they want to do paperwork, whether they want to do social work, whether they want to do home health. I mean, there's things that you don't have to like blood and guts to be a nurse.
And I think that is what is important, is that people still have that image in their head that when we go to a doctor's office, that's a nurse.
Right. Well, those are usually aides most of the time at the doctor's office. But you do not have to be exposed. I don't think I've had a single death in my whole nursing career.
That's amazing.
I mean of my hospital patients and stuff like that. Because you really don't have to deal with that most of the time. That's the rare instances. And it's just really, there's just so many things you can do with nursing. You can be a nurse a legal nurse consultant when you work in a law office and you're doing paperwork.
Oh.
You can be a workman's comp. You can be a case manager at say workman's comp at an insurance company. You can do triaging on the phone. There's just so many areas of nursing that you can use your nursing knowledge without having to work in a hospital.
And then you can even take what you learn and do something to help others, like what you did with writing.
Right.
You can take it a step further.
And expand on it, exactly.
And then that just kind of has the whole flow and has circles come right back. You're giving, other people are giving to you, and then you're giving out
to them. Exactly.
To other people.
Exactly.
That's amazing. And so when did you start getting into nursing? Was it because of the books because the books you read?
Well, Carrie Ames, inspired me when I was,
And then you went straight from college to nursing? Or straight from high school to college?
No, I went, right after high school, I tried to get into a 3-year program, and I didn't make the grade. I don't remember why offhand now. I think my grades weren't that good. I went to college for a year, and actually I had to cry my way through biochemistry.
Because I was just going to say, well, what if somebody isn't that good in science, but they want to be a nurse?
You can manage to get, you manage to get your way through, tutoring and stuff like that. But then my second year, then I ended up taking a second year, and I made the dean's list, taking classes that I really loved in English and history, and that propelled me into the nursing program.
Well, I think that may scare a lot of young people, is if they don't like science or they feel like that's not their strong suit, and that nursing programs are looking for certain grades.
Right, you have to understand science and how it works, but you don't have to be an expert in science.
But does it have that pressure that you have to get certain grades, or can you find like a nursing program somewhere? Obviously if you're getting D's or something, but if you're getting, do you have to get straight A's,
no,
or
you have to get
can you
A's.
get B's and there'll be a nursing program for you?
You can always go to a 1-year to be an LVN, which is a licensed vocational nurse, or an LPN, licensed practical nurse, the same.
And what do they do?
And that's a 1-year program usually. And you get hands-on training for nursing right then. And then you can go on, if you really like what you're doing, you go on to become an RN.
Is it the type of industry where you can get something like that, just go for a year, get some experience, and then move up through the ranks and do other kinds of nursing without going to more school?
As an LVN, you can go on and then take classes to become an RN. The LVNs do more of the scut work. They do they pass meds. Well, RNs do too, but they pass medications. They do more. It depends on where you're working, but they can be in nursing homes. An LVN can be a head nurse. They can. They are responsible for the aides. They have to, help manage the aides, but they still have to, clean the bedpans and do all that sort of stuff too. It just depends on where you're working and what it is you're doing, what area of nursing you're working in.
I just think this field is so fascinating because whenever I talk to you about forensic nursing, I didn't even know it existed, but that shows like CSI and that kind of detective shows are
when
really
I started
big.
writing the book, when I went to that first conference, I realized that if I am educated and I didn't know about it, then there's a lot of other people out there that didn't know about it, and it's really are. I mean, I've met so many nurses that don't know what a forensic nurse is, don't know that they, by observing
and they're in that industry.
Yes, but by observing correctly and by keeping the evidence, properly safe, and by chain of custody, that they are actually helping the police.
And plus, also, if you feel like you're getting too stagnant or too content in whatever part of nursing you are, there's other avenues that you can go into. And if they don't know about it, how is a common person supposed to know about it?
Exactly. So I wrote my book to educate the public as to what we do and why we do it. So they can say, oh, I want a forensic nurse working on my legal case. I want a forensic nurse doing my sexual assault exam. I want a forensic nurse, working in my office,
Exactly. If we don't know they exist, there's no way we can even ask for them or want them.
Exactly.
What would you like people to know about it?
I would like people to know that forensic nursing is here to stay, that we are a limited amount of people at the moment, and we are looking to spread the message because every nurse can be a forensic nurse. Every nurse, all they have to do is observe and know how to save the evidence.
Well, is observing something that can be taught if they're
observing is something that can
not?
Be taught. Yes. They can be taught to observe, they can be taught how to save evidence, they can be taught how to chart it properly. They can be taught the correct terms between a laceration and a cut. I had one, when I was in the ER the other day, one doctor said something about, oh, she's got a gash. And I said, there's no such thing as a gash. It's either a blunt edge laceration or it's a cut. And you're going to lose a case for somebody by saying that.
Really? I had no idea there's no such thing as a gash.
Well, I mean, there is a gash, but I mean, it's not It's not a legal term, to describe it, as far as, because if you go into court, and they say, and the nursing note says, oh, well, he had a laceration. Well, laceration is done by a blunt force trauma, like a bat. Or,
so legally, it's good to know those terms.
And then they say, well, my client had a scissors and had a knife with him, so therefore he couldn't have been the one that killed this person because she died of a laceration.
Right.
So I mean, it really does
make a huge
important
difference
to know the language.
Thanks for joining me, Sarita.
Thank you.
And we'll be on the lookout for your next book. Right now, 30-second book, Forensic Nurse. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today. If you have any questions about Sarita or nursing, you can email me in the email that follows. We'd love to hear from you. Have a good day. Thanks.
That was pretty good.
That was good, yeah. That went well.